When does protecting your culture cross the line into dangerous extremism? In 1910, a shocking incident at Paris's most sacred basilica revealed how religious fervor and nationalism can create a deadly cocktail. What happened that day would change how we understand the psychology of cultural pride forever. And the truth behind this incident? It's more disturbing than you might think. Picture this: you're standing before the Sacré-Cœur Basilica in Paris. This isn't just any church. This towering white monument was built after France's humiliating defeat to Germany in 1870. The French literally decided to wash away their national shame through divine intervention. The basilica became a symbol of Catholic revival and French nationalism rolled into one. But here's the thing about symbols: they attract both devotion and hatred in equal measure. By 1910, anti-clerical movements were gaining serious traction across Europe. According to historical records, over 3,000 religious buildings faced some form of protest or attack between 1901 and 1914 across France alone. But what made this particular incident so psychologically fascinating? The answer lies in something psychologists call sacred value protection theory. When people consider something sacred, whether it's religion, culture, or national identity, their brains literally work differently. Modern neuroscience shows us that threats to sacred values activate the same neural pathways as physical threats to our survival. In simple terms, attack someone's sacred belief, and their brain interprets it as a threat to their very existence. This isn't just metaphorical, it's biological. The amygdala fires up, rational thinking shuts down, and suddenly normal people become capable of extraordinary actions. Now imagine Paris in 1910. The basilica represented everything sacred to French Catholics: their faith, their cultural identity, their national pride. But to anti-clerical protesters, it represented oppression and backward thinking. You had two groups, both absolutely convinced that their sacred values were under attack. What could possibly go wrong? On a cold December morning, a group of protesters approached the basilica. Their plan was simple: make a statement against what they saw as the dangerous mixing of church and state. According to police reports, the crowd numbered around 200 people initially. But here's where psychology gets interesting. Something called group polarization kicked in. When like-minded people gather, they don't just maintain their views, they amplify them. The crowd's anti-clerical sentiment became more extreme with each passing hour. Meanwhile, local Catholics saw this as an attack on their sacred space. They began gathering to defend the basilica. Now you had two opposing groups, both convinced they were fighting for something sacred, both feeling justified in escalating tactics. The situation reached a boiling point when protesters attempted to enter the basilica itself. The psychological principle at play here is called reactive devaluation. When our sacred values are threatened, we don't just defend, we actively devalue and demonize the other side. What happened next would shock even seasoned observers of French politics. The lesson from the Paris Basilica incident isn't just historical, it's a warning about how our psychology can override our humanity. Understanding sacred value protection theory, group polarization, and reactive devaluation helps us recognize these patterns in modern conflicts. From political divisions to cultural wars, the same psychological mechanisms that played out in 1910 are still driving human conflict today. The question isn't whether our sacred values matter, they do. The question is, how do we protect what we hold dear without destroying those who disagree?